Sterling Models. Sterling Models was founded in 1946 by Mr. Edwin Manolkin in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and became one of the big players in balsa models, not only airplanes, but also boats and ships. At one time, they were producing over 120 different models. Their kits included static display, free flight, U-control, and eventually some radio control. In the 1960s, they even tried a styrofoam U-control model P-51 Mustang with a 36-inch wingspan, but it didn't sell. Judging by the current popularity of foam models, they were just ahead of their time. They also pioneered die-cut parts, and they made their own dies in order to do so. According to the comment threads I can find, most customers found their die cutting inadequate, but it was a step in the right direction. They also sold the first real practical proportional single-channel radio, the Command Master. It only controlled the rudder, and although made for model aircraft, it should have been usable in model boats as well. This unit was basically a drop-in unit at a time when RC models were still the purview of dedicated and highly skilled electronic builders. The units proved to be very susceptible to even weak RF interference, but at least they were thinking ahead. There seems to be some confusion on what they meant by proportional control, but I believe it means the rudder went only so far as you moved the lever. It did not keep going like some of the older RC units. This would allow you to hold a small amount of rudder without constant adjustment. We take that ability for granted today, but RCs did not always work the way they do these days. Ed Manolkin passed away in 1977, but the company continued on, led by his former secretary, Miss Betty Boyle, his daughter Sylvia Manolkin, and designer Bob Klaus. In the early 1980s, Sterling made a big splash at the Pasadena AMA show. They suggested that they were going to reactivate the old line. They brought out a couple of models for show, and then no more stock was available. This kind of thing is never a good sign for a business. At some point in the 1980s, most of the Sterling product line was sold to Estes Industries of Colorado. Estes did not acquire the rather complex and intricate Chris Craft boat, as the owners wanted more than Estes was willing to pay. But Estes did acquire the Sterling name, which would have made continuing marketing of the Chris Craft line very difficult. Estes quickly found out that remanufacturing the steel rolled dies to stamp the products would have been cost prohibitive. Rumors abounded that said what Estes got was worthless, late model, slow-selling stuff. Some of the earlier stuff that was obsolete and was either missing components or incomplete enough not to warrant duplication. This was suspiciously followed by a rather convenient warehouse fire, in which the majority of the product line was destroyed. And unfortunately, that warehouse was shared with another unrelated business. And that pretty much put an end to Sterling Models. This particular video has been rather hard to research because there's very little about Sterling Models online. There are no websites dedicated to them and no official history that I could find. So if you know something about the Sterling Model story and can help add a little flourish to this story, please leave it in the comment section below. See you next time.
Sterling, Sterling, Sterling. Sterling, 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 Sterling. 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 Sterling, Sterling, Sterling. S-T-E-R-L-I-N-G, Sterling. S-T-E-R-L-I-N-G. Sterling. 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 S-T-E-R-L-I-N-G, Sterling. Sterling.